in World War II, there was this study done on planes that had returned from bombing runs, and they wanted statisticians to figure out which parts of the planes they should put more armor on. So here they were looking at all these different planes, inspecting them, seeing which ones had damage and which ones didn't. And their first thought was like, okay, so all these places where all these bullet holes are, we need to put extra armor on those because clearly they're getting shot at. And this statistician named Wald said, no, 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 no. That's not where we need to put the armor. We actually need to put the armor in places where there aren't bullet holes. Because he figured that the planes that were getting shot in those same places where the bullet holes were on these planes that came back never returned. So in other words, if a plane were to get shot, say, in its fuselage or whatever, and crash, that plane would never come back and they would never be able to review it. And this is essentially a form of selection bias called survivorship bias. The idea that we don't see the hundreds of planes that hit the water. All we're seeing are the ones that actually return. So we can't actually get correct data from just the return ones. Now, this same idea applies to a lot of different concepts. Like take stockbrokers. People who are out there on Wall Street, with the slick back hair and the pinstripe suits on the cell phones. Buy, sell, sell. The guys who are making the multi-million dollars driving the Lamborghinis, they're going to say, yeah, I'm the best at my job. I'm so good at picking stocks. That's my New York accent. So if you're from New York, I apologize. But what we're not seeing is the millions of people who tried to be stockbrokers who made a few bad picks and never got the Lamborghini or the pinstripe suit or the slick back hair and all the attitude. That's survivorship bias. So when we're looking at quality versus quantity, quality will put you on par. It'll give you the requisite amount of skills necessary to do the thing that you want to do. So you don't totally crash and burn right from the beginning. But it does not guarantee success. There are plenty of quality writers and quality musicians and quality artists that are out there who don't get seen. There's take books, for example. Stephen King, he's a pretty good writer, right? But he puts out a ton of books. So if he had just written like a few books, like when he just started out, when he was still under his Bachman name, if he had put out like The Running Man and whatever it was before he started really hitting his stride and putting out books like It and The Stand and all the Gunslinger books, we may never have even heard of him. If he just put out The Running Man and never got to all those other books that he's famous for, we never would have heard of the guy, right? He just put out the one, see ya. Same with James Patterson. If he had just put out one mystery novel, a few people might have read it, but nobody ever knew who he was. If you want to succeed, unfortunately, it's a spray and pray kind of environment. Now, people are always going to bring up exceptions to that rule. They're going to bring up, say, like James Joyce, who wrote Ulysses. He wrote this one Titanic novel, got famous for it, okay? So everybody remembers James Joyce's Ulysses. But that is the exception to the rule because there were millions of other people writing their own Titanic novels who you never heard of. They just didn't get selected. They were another plane at the bottom of the sea. So, yes, talent, quality, it'll get you that first notice. It'll give you the requisite amount of skills you need to succeed. But if you're not consistently putting out content, if you're not consistently doing the thing that you need to do, whether it's writing or music or art or whatever, you're gonna have a lot smaller chance of getting recognized and doing the thing that you want to love, doing the thing that you love forever and always.